Anushka Patni. I'm from Orlando Science High School, and this is my affirmative case. Quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider, end quote. These 26 words were passed into law in 1996 and have helped countless online platforms skirt responsibility for hosting harmful content. Section 230 has helped the internet grow, but these powerful companies shouldn't be allowed to continuously exploit it, which is why I'm against Section 230 and affirm today's resolution. Resolve, the United States federal government ought to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Contention 1. Section 230 must be repealed because it cannot fulfill its original purpose. Section 230 was added to the Communications Decency Act as an attempt to incentivize internet service providers to remove harmful content. In theory, by reducing the risk of being held liable for the content they host or remove, platforms are motivated to moderate illicit and illegal content, keeping their pages clean, safe, and interactive. When platforms started out, they hosted thousands, maybe millions of users. However, as shown in research conducted by the University of Maine, as of April 2023, there were nearly 5 billion social media users worldwide, a number that grows exponentially every year. It is simply not possible to censor everything that is posted on these platforms anymore, and while companies don't necessarily choose to host illegal and illicit content, it is much harder to keep their pages clean and safe. On top of the sheer growth of users, social media now has complex algorithms that have the ability to control what a user sees and who they interact with. As written by the founder of The Markup, a nonprofit newsroom that challenges technology and its impact on society, quote, there are a lot of existing problems with this model. There are filter bubbles where we only see news that confirms our existing beliefs, rabbit holes where algorithms can push people toward more extreme content, and the most damaging problem of who controls the algorithms, end quote. In today's world, where numbers have grown and platforms control what users see, the host must have some accountability. However, as seen in countless court cases, social media companies claim no responsibility for the effects their algorithms have on the world. As explained by the National Association of Attorney General, Gonzalez versus Google was a case in which parents of a terrorist attack victim sued YouTube, alleging that it must be held liable for recommending content by terrorist organizations to users through its algorithms, but their argument didn't stand, as the court found that their claims were barred by Section 230. The expansions of the internet leave no place for the protections given by the bill, and so the law cannot fulfill its original purpose, be properly interpreted, or hold online companies properly accountable, and so it must be revoked. Contention 2. Section 230 gives substantial and unnecessary power to online media. Media in the physical world faces liabilities for all aspects of what it publishes. The same cannot be said for online sources of media. For example, The Dirty was a gossip site founded by Nick Ritchie, who encouraged readers to anonymously send him emails containing dirt on people they knew. Ritchie would then post his favorite emails in blog posts, and he admitted to how he purposefully, quote, would ruin people's sometimes out of fun, end quote, as he knew that he could never be held accountable for the information that he spread. As written by Kate Nibbs, who covered this story in 2017, quote, Ritchie was a frequent target of defamation lawsuits, and as a website operator, he had already argued in previous cases that he was legally shielded by Section 230, end quote. Ritchie damaged people's lives and careers, and was able to skirt accountability for it by manipulating the immunities granted to him. Section 230 continuously fails to have merit, tipping the balance of power and allowing people to act unseemly online with no corresponding punishment. The words that were meant to make the internet a safe place simultaneously protects those who cause harm, and so it must be rescinded. Dissolving Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act would help protect the world and increase justice, letting the internet thrive in a way that is beneficial to all. As such, I stand in support of the resolution. Resolved, the United States federal government should repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Now my negative case. Quote, we are all now connected by the internet, like neurons in a giant brain, end quote. It is because I agree with genius Stephen Hawking in the position that the internet connects the world like nothing else that I believe its existence is necessary. Section 230 has allowed the internet to grow and thrive into the interactive empire it is, and removing the benefits of this act would cause it to crumble. For these reasons, I am for Section 230 and negate today's resolution. Resolve, the United States federal government ought to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Contention 1. Section 230 established free speech on the internet, and repealing the act which threatened this freedom. Section 230 was passed to incentivize internet service providers to keep their platforms clean and safe by granting them certain immunities. In doing so, Section 230 gave platform curators the freedom to properly handle their pages, and they thrived, eventually growing into today's social media. The growth of the internet has revolutionized standards of education and awareness, and the outlet social media gives to individuals who want to spread their stories is unparalleled, allowing Americans to take full advantage of their First Amendment rights. As analyzed by Gabriela Aguilar in a research project, quote, social media has encouraged activism and has been of extreme importance for the reformation of laws and has helped serve justice to the cases that otherwise would have been dismissed, end quote. Aguilar uses the examples of Michael Brown Jr. and George Floyd's cases, two black men who were killed as a result of police brutality. The attention brought to each tragedy by social media activism shined a new light on racial discrimination, causing laws to change and justice to be served. Social media gives people a chance to be heard and fuels movements, allowing necessary changes to occur, and it would be unable to exist without Section 230. Repealing the law would not only cause these forums to disappear, but it would also threaten freedom of speech. Without the protection against liability, internet service providers would censor significant amounts of their content for fear of being sued for hosting controversial speech. Censorship is the antithesis to free speech, where one magnifies the strength of a voice, the other unproportionately silences the same perspectives. Research conducted by Martin Sapp and others found that AI models are 1.5 more times as likely to label African American content as harmful, and 2.2 times as likely to censor African American English. When censorship increases, marginalized communities are targeted first. Section 230 allows people to connect and spread their stories, and without it, the diversity of views seen in media today would be gone. Stories would be unintentionally biased, and the risk of misinformation would increase, as users would see only one side of the story. The law must be kept intact, so the stories of all are able to be spread and heard. Contention 2. Reforming Section 230 to fit the modern internet while maintaining its core is the best course of action. In order to maintain the integrity of Section 230, the law must be made more specific, and can be through reformations proposed by the United States Department of Justice. Section 230 provides good Samaritan protection to operators that use good faith to moderate material they deem, quote, obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, end quote. Its terminology is vague, and this unclarity is the cause for its misinterpretations. By simply defining good faith and specifying otherwise objectionable content as unlawful, Section 230 can be better interpreted in today's world. Furthermore, the law can be refined through carve-outs. By reforming the law to deny Section 230 immunity to people with bad intentions, platforms who fail to act, and in the cases of severe abuse, the law can achieve its original purpose of keeping the internet safe. Section 230 sets the foundation for the interactive internet, and by enhancing the law, it will fully achieve its potential. Dissolving Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act would be regressive for society and the internet, and so I stand against the resolution. Resolved, the United States federal government should repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Thank you.